Hello again, everyone. It's been quite a while. So, my clan lead's gonna hate me for this video, but we're doing something on the Chrysler K. Okay, first let's go for loadout. The everything about the tank is phenomenal except for the gun. The gun is crap. I hate the gun. You have to run a calibrated and refined gun. Anything else is whatever. The dispersion sucks. The aim time sucks. The pen sucks. You have to load a lot of pramo and HE for engine deck spamming. Yeah, it's oh boy, painful. Anyway, 2 replays. Let's start with one that just shows how stupid you can be in the tank and get away with it with ease. So I was platooning with Snow for this game, and definitely thank you, IO Snow, for me surviving during this game. I would definitely have died if Snow weren't here with me. So I'm doing something dumb. I'm in a tier 9 game and I'm pushing onto the bridge. Your upper plate on this thing's like 300mm effective, and so is your turret face, so it's quite ridiculous for a tier 8, so I felt pretty strong here. And why I'm sideways is because you get 10 degrees over the rear and sides, and you only have 6 over the front, so it's just better for me to be in this position because I'm blown up to the ground. And as you can see, my Primo can't pen a KV5. And then again, he can't pen me either, so it's kind of a lose-lose situation for everyone. Oh, I can pen that, it's a Borsig. And he bounced, because the armor is kind of nutty on this tank, honestly. And just waiting for another target. It's hard to angle the multiple targets with this tank, because the effective thickness on the front is much, much greater than what it is on the sides. I'm getting flanked now by a VK, which is annoying. Snow's sitting on the corner there, and I'm like, Snow, can you, you're gonna have to push in here. We're in VC. I was telling them they're gonna have to push in here if that VK pushes up aggressively, which he does here in a small bit. So we're just, once again, we're waiting for someone to get spotted up, which no one is at the moment. Oh, 4-6 poking up. Cool, we gotta put a shot into him. Nice, he's cleared by Snow. Good focus fire. Okay, now I need Snow to push up if these guys aggress any further. The KV5 is flanked around. And there's also a Rev there. Now I gotta angle the Yag. Ooh, barely get there in time. He could have penned that shot if he aimed a little better. That was not the gun, that was all me right there. I can't angle the multiple targets in this thing very well, so I told Snow to rush in. Snow did just that, and I owe it to Snow that I survived this game. Now we're both going to rush the M4 Revolution. I'm able to put a HE into the very thin side armor and get a ram in, because this thing weighs 60 tons and it goes 40 with a 1000 horsepower engine. And once again, this is not the gun. That was all me sucking. So yeah, Snow gets to clear the rev, which is nice. VK is running stock gun, so I'm able to ricochet shell from him. Or he's running the alternative gun that's just a weird gun that I don't think anyone should ever run on a tier 9. Especially not that thing. That thing's basically the Chrysler K of tier 9, if it was German. And it's very thick, as you can see. The pen sucks on this tank. That is as tomato-y as they get right there. I was gonna get the drive wheel, but you know, I screwed that one up, didn't I? Now Snow's dead, unfortunately. And I'm trying to side scrape off the wall here. I can't pen him, so I'm just splashing HE into his engine deck there, which is a good thing to do if you can't pen something. So instead of risking failing a pen on the hatch with APCR, I just went for 2 HEs because I could guarantee I could kill him that way. And a lot of holes on my tank. I'm only at 94 HP left. And we go ahead and rush forward. And someone else takes the kill. It wasn't a massive damage game or anything, it just shows how stupid you can be with this tank. It's a very forgiving vehicle. Definitely a good premium for newbies or players who are not as skilled as they could be. So, yeah, not amazing game, but just demonstrates the powerfulness of the armor profile on the vehicle. Okay, next game is Himmelsdorf. This is actually a good game. This one's going to be an ace, and it's just absolute domination, even though they're tier 9s in the enemy team. It's going to rush through heavy route, get a lucky shot in the lower plate of the E75, I'm sorry if that's irritating for some people, just skipping over a large portion of the replay. Shoot him in the side here, and when you're side scraping, the tank is not impenetrable unless people have over 300mm of premium pen, which most things don't at this tier. I managed to bounce a promo from the E75 with ease, and now this dude's out here and I'm not worried at all. I'm just trying to prevent him from hitting my hatch because that's the only weak spot they can see. I was trying to bait out a shot from the E75 so he wouldn't shoot my teammate, but he did anyway. Wobbling death gun there. I don't know how I hit that shot. Our Scorpion gets a little thirsty for a damage there. And even against tier 9, he just ignores me because all he sees is red, so yeah. At this point I'm contemplating pushing forward, but we do have one more shot into that Conqueror, so we do take that. I loaded promo just in case. And you notice the T-49 behind me now. He's not necessarily going for me, and nor is he a major threat to me. I'm just trying to bounce a shot from this Conqueror. And indeed I get that. He was going, there's these two gray spots that appear on the turret ring that aren't actually gray. I believe that's what he was trying to shoot at just then. Always trying to hide my lower plate at any time. Your lower plate's basically the only weak spot on the tank. The hatch, people never really go for it. And if they do, they miss 90% of the time. Just getting another bounce there. This dude rushes me, but if you hold these sharp angles, it's actually quite tough to hit the lower plate because the traverse is amazing on the tank. As you can see, the pen is not great. The T26E5 isn't really renowned for having amazing hull armor, and it's still pink. Good use of the HE there, 500 max roll. Perfect time to use the HE. Now I'm still in the open, so my armor shouldn't be great, but I'm able to angle up here and get another bounce. I blocked 2.3k this game. It's been all aggression the entire game, and I didn't realize it. I was kind of tunneling, but there's a Yag behind me now, which sucks. So I have to make a decision. Okay, I gotta eat a shell from the Conqueror, potentially, but someone else kills him. He doesn't even get a shot into me, and now at this point, the Yag wouldn't be able to pen me anymore. He did get 2 shots into me, and that absolutely crippled my hit points. It does have a pretty solid amount, though, for a tier 9, or sorry, tier 8. It does feel like a tier 9, though, except for the gun. The gun is crap, and I hate the gun so much. I should have demonstrated with a replay that shows how inaccurate the gun can be sometimes. And there we go. Able to clear up the last dude. That was a tier 9 game, and we just went full charge. We weren't even nervous at all about anyone penetrating our frontal armor. It's quite nice. It's a good tank, makes nice credits as well, 96k there. Another steel wool and mastery, hard carry. Yeah, we'll go to now if you have the tank or you're planning on getting the tank, how to use the armor effectively, how to side scrape it properly. And for those people who struggle fighting against this tank and think it's pay to win, I'll show you how to exploit the hell out of this vehicle and make its armor profile practically useless, including when you're in a face hug where to shoot, or when it's side scraping where to shoot. So anyway, that'll be it for this portion of the video. I'll see you when we start demonstrating the armor. This is now the armor profile portion of the video. This is the Chrysler K. As you can see, there's a lot of dark colors here. Means it's a very thick tank, 300mm, just about everywhere on the turret. When you get to the edges, it's definitely impenetrable. Right here is going to look gray on the armor profile at all times, but it is in fact an auto bounce for everything. And the hatch is, it can be troll if you hit these little things here. But if you don't, it's an easy pen through the hatch, although it is a rather small hatch. And the upper plate sits around 300mm at all times, and the lower plate is quite squishy at 165. And you also notice right through here, that's probably the next weak spot, although it is still quite thick there. And this tank, if you couldn't tell, as it is rear turreted, was built for side scraping. When you angle over the drive wheel like so, this becomes 250mm, 308 on the upper plate. The turret is of course very, very strong, and nothing's going to be penning it unless it has really nice premium pen. And the sides, not even a Yag's heat could pen that, except for if they hit like down here in this little strip potentially. Although there's all these tracks that could absorb the heat shell. Anyway, yeah, if you're driving the tank, you always want to be side scraping, hiding the lower plate. You'll notice you have 6 degrees over the front, which is mediocre, it's not great. But if you go over the sides, you can get it down to 10 degrees. And you do have great traverse with the tank, so you can do basically what I'd like to call the tog maneuver, and flip your tank around and use your 10 degrees of gun depression over a ridgeline. When you're using that 10 degrees of gun depression, oh my goodness, this is a very tough turret to pen. So, ooh boy, that Chrysler's not fun to find in that position. So it's a pretty simple playstyle. If you have the tank, just side scrape it off the walls. At most, side scrape it like this if you really need the gun depression, but keep in mind that your sides can be penned by very high penning premium rounds. For the most part, just angle it over the front drive wheel, and you're going to be absolutely set as far as effective thickness goes. Everywhere, people are going to bounce you all the time. And keep in mind the engine deck is weak. Now, if you're trying to pen the tank, and yeah, it's side scraping against you, right? Most things are going to have the premium pen that can go through here, like an Object 252, IS3, any other heavy tank that would potentially be facing this thing in a side scrape. Just load the premium and put it through the track wheel, so you'll track it at the same time, and you can do damage through this plate while tracking the vehicle. So just do that anytime you see it, or even just splash an HE like right here, and it'll do splash damage on the engine deck, and you can do pretty decent consistent damage like that. And also something you'll realize is this tank will bounce a lot of shells off of you if you are another heavy, because the pen sucks on the Chrysler K, and the accuracy is not very good for hitting weak spots. If it's face hugging you, that's where things can get a little tricky, because if you look here, oh my goodness, that's a lot of thickness. But at the weakest point is actually right down here in this area. If it's over angling especially, everywhere is super thick. But if you hit down here, that's where it is at its weakest. And even though this says that it is under 300 millimeters, yeah, so less than the upper plate, over here is an auto bounce. So let's go look at, here's the Scorpion G shooting at a Chrysler K with AP rounds. This is a Scorpion G running calibrated, by the way. That is a very red tomatoey Chrysler. That thing is totally impenetrable besides the hatch. And now here's it shooting APCR, and believe it or not, we tested it. This first shell here did penetrate. That was at a lesser angle, and at this point that upper plate was actually pink, so it was like a 30% chance of it penning. We did test that out after the screenshot. And the cheeks are also quite troll if the turret was wiggling round and about. So as you can see, a Chrysler in a proper position is very tough. And when you're in a face hug, things get a little interesting. This is a Kranvagn shooting at the Chrysler K with APCR. This is also Chrysler K running calibrated. As you can see, the turret is very tough, hard to pen. And the side, believe it or not, okay, so this was an APCR. It ricocheted right off because it is an auto bounce all along this side, even though it's gray. And this was a heat shell, and that bounced as well. This was a heat shell over here, and this was an APCR that penned, because if a Chrysler K is face hugging you, don't shoot this, don't shoot this. Just shoot right here in this area, and it'll pen most of the time, unless you have a, I want to say like a penetration under 270, or if you're a taller tank, like around 250, just shoot right here, and you can pen just fine. And if you don't have that kind of pen, but you are a taller tank, and you have a 122 millimeter or higher, you can actually overmatch the engine deck with APCR, making the armor basically useless. And don't go for the commander's hatch, because it is quite hard to hit, and it is small, and it's very easy to gun block. Also, these triplexes up here, they look gray, but don't be fooled, they are impenetrable. So that's kind of how to deal with a Chrysler effectively. Just splash HE it if you have to. Shoot Premo through the drive wheels. If it is exposed, it's really easy to pen the lower plate, so don't even be concerned about that. That's kind of about it for the armor profile. Alright guys, that'll be it. See ya.